Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It's Shakespeare Day. I screwed up. I'm sorry. I completely forgot that yesterday was Shakespeare Day. I got caught up in a bunch of personal issues and stuff that adults have to do, and I completely forgot that my favorite thing about Monday is talking to you about my favorite author, William Shakespeare. Let's get to it today. This is awesome. We are at Act 3, Scene 2. And we are really starting that march into hell on earth that Macbeth is taking. In the previous scene, just from last week, Macbeth meets with the murderers, three guys that are willing to go and kill Banquo, his friend, for no other reason than that Banquo saw the witches proclaim Macbeth to be the next king, and that Macbeth fears him, fears that he may know that Macbeth murdered Duncan. So he's a threat. Banquo's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing to him. And nevertheless, Macbeth is unleashing these murderers, these dogs, these curs on him and his son. And it's just, it's the next step down. If you commit a heinous act, you often have to keep committing heinous acts to cover up the first act, and you just keep sinking deeper and deeper into the mire. One of the reasons that I love this play, maybe the main reason, is it's a rumination on evil. Evil as a human act. The way I describe evil is that it's hurting people on purpose for reasons other than self-defense, basically, out of selfishness or spite or any other reason, really. So Shakespeare's saying, evil is because of what we're doing to each other. It's not really any outside influence, actually. But he's examining more than anything else the cost of evil on the perpetrator. Not even the victims. I mean, he gives voice to the victims of this evil, but it's really about Macbeth and how he loses his soul. I think I said before that if you keep doing really horrible things, one has to cut away one's psyche so that you can sleep at night or not, or just live with yourself, just to stop feeling the guilt. And if you keep going down that road, eventually you'll feel nothing. And we know that to be a psychological truth. Psychologists say, wow, Shakespeare was right all the way back then. Some of my favorite works reflect this thinking. There's a play by Athelflaed Gard called Master Harold and the Boys. Athelflaed Gard wrote during apartheid in South Africa, when it was complete white rule and just a very racist, segmented society. And in the play, it's about Master Harold, who's a young white a boy who has grown up. And he's gotten to an age where in that society you stop wearing shorts and you put on your long pants and you become a man. Also, whereas back then it was okay for a boy to have a friend who is black, it's not okay for a man to have a friend who is black. And this young boy has to turn his back on his best friend. And it's a heartbreaking play. And I think really about the cost of racism on the white person. Martin Luther King made a speech about this too, about the cost of racism in America on the white people, which is not normally how we think of it, but I think that there is a psychological stunting that happens whenever you do the wrong thing. And so this scene is really starting to delve into that aspect of Macbeth. So here we are. Act 3, Scene 2. We have Lady Macbeth alone, with a servant, and she's just, she asks if Banquo has left. He's riding out with his son Fleance, and the servant says, yep, but he's coming back tonight. And then Lady Macbeth says, can you go tell Macbeth to come talk to me, please? And they say, yes. I'll go do that. And the servant leaves. And then Lady Macbeth says to the audience, naught's had, all's spent, when our desire is got without consent. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. And she's basically saying, wow, this is not so cool. I thought it'd be so nice to be queen, and now I get to it, and it's actually kind of horrible, but doesn't explain why. And then Macbeth comes in, and she says, why aren't you talking to me? Why are you all alone all the time? And you're turning over these thoughts which are really bothering you, but you're not talking to me. Don't even think about it anymore. Just don't think about the fact that we killed Duncan. It's really bothering you. It's done. What's done is done. We can't do anything about it, so just leave it. And Macbeth says, we have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor Malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both worlds suffer, ere we eat our meal in fear, and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better to be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further. So, Macbeth's pretty freaked out right now. He's not in a good state of mind. He's not sleeping. He can't sleep. He's guilty. He feels guilty, and he can't really face himself. And he's not talking to Lady Macbeth, which I think this is the big tragedy of the play. They love each other and they gain the throne, but they lose each other because Macbeth does not want to burden his wife with what he is having to do and how he feels. He's trying to protect her, but all he's doing is keeping away from her and breaking her heart. And Lady Macbeth says, come on, just calm down. Come on, gentle lord, sleek over thy rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among our guests tonight. And Macbeth says, so shall I love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are. Lady Macbeth says, you must leave this. Macbeth says, oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo and his Fleance lives. And she says, well, but they're not immortal. And he goes, yeah, there's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle, with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note. Lady Macbeth says, what's to be done? Macbeth says, be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night. Scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So pray thee, go with me. And they leave. And so Macbeth is going crazy. he is going dark. He is wanting to kind of communicate with his wife that I'm about to go kill one of my best friends. He's not telling her the specifics. He's hinting at it, but he's not really telling her everything because he doesn't want to drag her into all of this too. She is just watching her good husband collapse into darkness and doesn't know what to do about it. And he is pushing her away and starting to even treat her like a servant. It's very different. The way they were talking to each other before the murder, where they were like, no, fuck you, fuck. And they were equals. Now he's like, prithee, go with me. Like she's a handmaiden or something. And they are just very far apart. And the tragedy, it's called the tragedy of Macbeth, is that they gain the throne and lose each other. And so, 12 minutes on one scene. Anyway, that was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. And I'll remember next week to do this on Monday. Bye, guys.